Good morning, this is Mr. Trujillo again, and my final installment video for the interim assessment training is going to be how to access the California Educator Reporting System, or CERS, so that once interim assessments are given, teachers can easily score them. Update: what used to be known as the online reporting system for viewing scores is no longer active. Now all the interim assessment and the summative assessment data, formerly known as ORS, or online reporting system, will now all be compiled onto CERS. So CERS is really what we need to be looking at for interim assessments and summative assessments in the spring. So what I want to do, like I've been doing in the previous video series, is take you to our Schoology group where I've archived many of these files for you. And I want to then walk you through to the Tom's page so you can see how to do what I'm going to show you in this demonstration. So like usual, here is the access code for our Schoology group. In our resources folder, I have a folder titled Teacher Support and Testing. So here is your Tom's account. Here are some CDE created video series that supplements what I'm discussing. Here is the user guide for CASP. And really, the CERS user guide will be your best friend in case you have any additional questions to what I'm going to present in this video. So let's go ahead and jump to our CASP account. So I will take us to the Tom's portal. So I'm already signed in. I'll sign out for you so you can see how to do this from the beginning. So from the casp.org page, you click on Tom's. You sign in with your Tom's account. Okay, then you're going to click on links. Then you're going to click on CERS. Note the online reporting system, which I already said was the old way to view scores, will be disabled. So please only use CERS. So from CERS, what you're going to see is from this new page, you have lots of different resources available to you. So you have the user guide, which is a supplemental resource, goes far more in depth than I'm going to on how to check your student scores, but it's available here as a PDF. There's an interpretive guide, and here is a quick access to all the reports that you can easily download and print. Okay, so for now, what I want to do is show you how you're going to be able to search scores for your students. So you can do this a couple of ways. You can just search your student using the SSID that I have provided all homeroom and advisory teachers this semester. You can search by school, or you can also search by assigned groups. So the new feature for interim assessments this year is that all teachers are going to receive individual sets of scores per period. So you'll notice, for example, this is last year's data because obviously we haven't done the interim assessment yet, but for example, these are my scores for my students that took interim assessments by period. So you'll see here, here's my name. I'll click on 5AF, which stands for period 5, fall semester. What you're going to do to view those scores is you're going to change the school year because we haven't done any tests this year. So I'm going to go look at last year's 2019 scores. And you'll see that my period 5 students, which is my academic decathlon, these are the only 2 students that I had on my team that took an interim assessment. And it actually even tells me which interim assessment they took. So I can see here that they took the IAB for ELA called Research, okay, on March 11th, and they also took on February 28th, or actually, sorry, they took this assessment on 2 different dates, right? Because it's different teachers, and then you'll notice if I select February 28th, an additional student of mine appears, and again, these are students in my 5th period. So if you go back to your home screen, you can search another period, for example. You're going to want to change the year for interim assessment testing, and same thing. So this is now my period 3. I can select on all the different test dates that were given, and then you'll notice that all of my students start to appear. Okay, so that's one way that you can search your students that have taken interim assessments. You'll notice that because I am the CASP coordinator, I can actually just select student groups, and then I have all teachers groups. Okay, so you won't have access to all of this. You'll only be able to see your own students groups, but I just wanted to show you that. Okay. Another thing I wanted to cover with you is the IAB dashboard found right here next to groups. The IAB dashboard, and again, I'm going to change the year to 2019. This dashboard shows me last year which IABs were administered at Franklin. Okay, so it shows here that ELA teachers administered the research IAB, and you'll see that math administered the algebra and functions IAB. Okay, so let's say, for example, that I wanted to, and notice this is grade 11. Okay, that's what they all say, G11. So if I wanted to look at one of these assessments in particular, all I have to do is click on one. Okay, you'll notice that it gets highlighted in blue with a little check mark. And if I click on view assessments, I'll be able to see more detail about that assessment. But I just wanted to show you from here, it gives us the name of the assessment. It shows us percentage of how many were below standard. So you'll see that none of them were below standard, how many were near standard, and how many were above standard. So let's go ahead and open that. So on this IAB, you'll notice that it gives me a couple of things, right? So it shows me the score for the students that took the IAB. It shows me the error band. It shows me, again, how many were above standard, near standard, below standard, etc. And you'll notice that it shows me for my students, and I only have two, it shows me the results by student, okay? But what I can actually do to get a little more detail, and this is one of the neat features about CERS, is if I want to use this data to inform my instruction, I can actually not only view the results by student, like here I can see that the date they took it, the grade level of my students, and their score. But if I want more details on the question items, I can actually click on results by item. And this is really cool because what you can do here is you can actually click on um, an item number. So for example, for this IAB, it shows me the 10 items or 10 questions that were on that IAB. It tells me the claim and target. So the claim for this IAB was research and inquiry. It shows me the target. If you click on it, it tells you that for research and inquiry, they were supposed to evaluate information and sources. It tells me the difficulty for that question. It tells me the Common Core standards that IAB question was related to. It shows me how many students receive full credit for that question, and it shows me of those how many got it correct and how many did not. Okay, so another cool thing you can do is you can actually click on one of the item numbers. So I'll click on this one here, and it gives me some additional tools. Okay, so I can click on item viewer. So as the teacher, if I want to know what types of questions my students are being asked, I actually can see the exact question here. It doesn't give me their responses. It's just showing me the item. Okay. I can also click on the rubric. In this case, this was a short answer response, so it just gives me the answer key here. And then I can click on item information to get a little more detail about the questions my students are answering. And again, this is meant to inform my instruction as a teacher, right? So it tells me the claim that they were, or the standard really that they were supposed to do here, the target, or what they were supposed to do with that claim. So for research, they were supposed to evaluate information and sources. It tells me the depth of knowledge, or DOK level, this is related to. It shows me the item difficulty for that question. And it even gives me the exact Common Core standard that this is meant to address. So as a teacher, I can use that information to then guide how I am giving instruction to my students so that I can best support them when it comes time to administer not only the IAB, but the summative assessment in the spring. So these are really cool tools that we should be looking at. One last thing I wanted to show you is I can actually click on instructional resources, And there is a brand new tool for teachers called Tools for Teachers that actually gives me supplemental information such as lessons, resources, guides, things that I can do to best support these assessments as a content level teacher. So it redirects me here to Tools for Teachers, which you're going to need to create with your My Tom's account. But once you have your Tom's account, you can easily access this. So if you scroll down here, it actually tells you that you can actually dive deeper, I mean, and get some sample items for that item you're interested in. So I can browse items by grade level. That was ELA that I was just showing you. The claim I was looking at was research and inquiry. The target was the third one. And this was the standard I was looking at, right? So if I click on that, check this out. I now can print some resources related to this. So you can do that. You can also just go back to the home for Tools for Teachers and just browse items. You can just browse, actually you can browse a couple of ways. Yeah, so my apologies. That's the best way to browse, is just to browse by looking for the grade level, the subject you want, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so this is a really cool supplemental tool that you might want to check out. But for now, I hope this video was helpful. This is, again, how to view interim assessment data for ELA and math, so that you can use this data to inform your instruction, to be able to have conversations with your students about items that will be covered on these interim assessments, and really so that you can print out these results and discuss them with your students. So again, from the CERS system, I showed you how to view one IAB for ELA, but actually for my period 5 class, I can actually also go to select assessments, and you'll notice that other IABs they took also appear. So I was just showing you ELA, but look, check it out. Here's math, right? Here's the math ICA. So there's lots of data on here that you guys have access to now from the new California Educator Reporting System, also known as CERS. So I'll archive this video in our Schoology group, and if you have any additional questions on how to use this, please feel free. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Bye.